we're going to talk today about our digital engagement platform and the two use cases associated with that we've outlined for you today. So now let me get my computer. It was probably still too long. There we go. I think we all can agree, and as James Robert Leah said, the world has been turned upside down by COVID. And in the past, one of the things that we had a very, very large physical footprint, and digital was starting to creep up in terms of its importance. But now, given COVID and the acceleration of digital and digital technologies in all walks of life, we're going to start to see digital take a much more primary role, and the physical will still be the point of the spear, but we're going to see that really evolve into a completely different model. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Our first use case is our digital personal engagement. So let me begin by saying the most important thing about what we do is create a relevant experience for your members. And marketers have always been all about really pushing their message, what they want to say, out on the audience, whatever it is. And the problem is it's tough to do today. You may have great offers, but they may not be interested. So we've really got to try to gather enough information and data and behavioral information to really meet at the middle, which is where the relevancy occurs. And you'll have a much higher probability that they'll pay attention to what you have to say because they are interested in it. So we offer personal pages, and those personal pages drive personal engagement. And the way we do that is through what we call a unique personal URL. So each individual member gets their own unique identifier, and that allows us to track every single thing they do on the page. So we track the actions by individual members. We are able to generate leads off those actions and retarget those members. And we're able to drive them as individuals to actionable functions on your website, in your social media, and across your other channels. So it's really, really important to try to understand who acted as an individual by name, what actions they took, where was the action taken, when was the action taken, and how they acted. Each personal page is persistent and dynamic. The page does not go away unless we no longer receive the data. It's dynamic in terms that based upon a cadence that you establish, those individual pages, all the content will change based upon what it is we want to communicate with those members, based upon the data we have and the behavioral aspects of their activities. So we have different methods of delivering these personal pages. First and foremost is email. That's what most marketers are comfortable with today. This is a typical email we do for one of our clients, Unify, Federal Credit Union. We have text messaging capabilities with double opt-in. We encourage each member to bookmark their page. We also have the ability to operate behind the firewall of your mobile banking app and also your online banking solution. So all those different methods are available to us and to you to help get this page out to the right member. We also can set up a flexible automated cadence based upon all sorts of different types of business rules. For example, welcome and re-engagement. So the minute you send us the data, and the data comes to us typically daily, if not more frequent, and it's in a secure encrypted file, and that data comes to us, and we see if a new member has just joined, and we can instantly send out a welcome message, and we're going to demonstrate that to you today. But we don't want to all forget to re-engage our existing members. So we have a different messaging that we send out to them. We also, driven by the data, have ongoing dialogue with these members. And things like time triggers when a CD potentially is coming to the end of its term, or a loan hits a certain point, whether that's a car loan or a mortgage or a personal loan. So we have a lot of time triggers that we establish to try to get that member to take action. We also have seasonal messaging, new product service thank yous. So the instant they adopt a new product or service from you, we thank them. And I believe we may be showing you those today. If not, we certainly can. Retargeting, and then ad hoc for special situations. So now we're going to move into the personal page demonstration. So Joe, do you want to pick up on the welcome and retargeting?
I will do that, yes. Let me share my screen here. And let me know when you can see this.
We see it.
All right.
Got it.
Well, thanks. So what I'm going to take you through here are a few demos. I'm going to take you through, Paula mentioned a welcome. So that's what you're looking at here first with Weoki. Then I'm going to take you through what we call a retargeting campaign. So somebody gives us information that there's a life stage event coming up in their lives, and we can retarget them immediately. And then a couple other examples that are a little relevant to today with COVID, with demonstrating some additional technologies within the personal pages of integrating chatbots and FAQs and things like that. So I'll start with this. So, and certainly stop me if I'm going too quick or you have questions. The way these personal pages are built are in what we call components, and they scroll down through different pieces of content. So each component is made up of images and content, copy, links, etc. And the idea is to really serve up kind of nuggets of information that's relevant to the member, and then allow them to dive deeper by clicking on the various links. So I'll start at the top. You can see at the top, we always have kind of our masthead where the branding lives, for Weoki in this case, the hamburger drop-down menu, and then the contact us. These are click-to-call numbers as well. So that can all be done right within the experience. So this first component you're seeing is what we call the hero. And this can be a static component. It can be a rotating carousel with multiple images and content, depending on what touch point it is and really what the client wants. So here we're basically welcoming them as a new member. And we know from the data coming in, if they became a new member within a branch or online, et cetera, so we can talk to them that way. But in this case, we're saying, thank you for signing up with Weoki. It's our mission to ensure you meet all your financial goals and have an outstanding member experience. We encourage them to bookmark the page, obviously. And then we always ask them to provide feedback, which is our survey. And if we click on that, it drops you right to our very simple survey of please take a minute to complete our quick survey. Tell us how satisfied you were with the process of onboarding. And they click on whatever ones they want and they submit. And we say, thank you for your time. We appreciate your feedback. So that's a component that's within the personal page itself. But we like to put that in the hero to get them to give us immediate feedback. And all that information and that data is then fed to the client to use as they wish. So if somebody indicates they had a poor experience, then that data goes real time the same day to a designate at either the branch or at the credit union headquarter office, and they can follow up accordingly to make sure they troubleshoot that. So I've scrolled down to the second component, which is all about helping you get to financial freedom. In this case, you're even seeing that we've integrated some COVID content in here. This is a current example with Weoki, just to re-encourage the members here that we're still here for you, and you can do a lot of these services can all be done online. If you want to schedule a financial session with Sarah, they can click here and actually do it right there within the experience. So that opens up right here to appointment scheduler, and they can fill that all out, or Chris in this case. So they can schedule an appointment to do something that they want to talk specifically about with a specialist. The next component, as you scroll down, just about helpful suggestions to provide them with the best experience, because again, we're welcoming them and want to make sure that they're learning about the different products and services available to them at Weoki. So banking at your convenience, a simple way to pay for purchases without paying for it later, and reducing the clutter. So each of these, again, a deep link to the content within their website to get that additional information and dive deeper. So again, serving it up as just little nuggets of content and little articles that they can deep link to for additional information. And they can even have links right in here, like for enrolling now with paperless, that takes them right to the enrollment form. You know, in this case, requested a Visa check card. So those links can live right within the content and the copy as well. And if they want to sign up for online banking, again, these all link directly to their registration pages to take that action. So real quick and easy, but all happens within their experience. And they wanted to use this nice video or this note from Brent Taylor, who's their president and CEO. We love Brent. So he's welcoming them now. Again, you're a new member, so he wants to personally say, I'm the president and CEO. Welcome. We're your trusted financial solutions provider, et cetera. So, you know, just a more of a friendly, personal face welcome to the credit union experience. And that's who Brent is. We've spent quite a bit of time with him, and he's really, really a friendly guy. They wanted to include also a referral component. So they have a referral program at Weoki, which is an Amazon gift card, $25. So you can click on this and drops you right into their refer a friend program. Fill out all the information, real simple, and you submit it. And then I mentioned this life stage opportunity. So we make differences in people's lives. So here we're just listing 4, in this case, different types of life stage activities, events that might be happening. These can be designed based on whatever the credit union wants or the bank. It can be marriage, home purchase, new car, save for retirement. There's a whole library of these that we have. They can rotate out at different points throughout the experience on their different touch points. But this is where, and I'll talk to this in the next demo, where we talk about retargeting messages. So let's say somebody says, I'm interested in purchasing a new home. I'm going to do that probably in the next 9 months. And then they submit, and we say, that's great. Thank you for your submission. And then we'll follow up with them. Probably within a day, they'll get a retargeting campaign personal page, and I'll show you an example of that in just a second. But that will help court them through that process and really contain unique information that's all about that home purchase experience. And then we kind of sign off with this friendly have questions. We're here to answer any questions. Contact us anytime. You know, again, the click to call, a phone number, email, and then the social icons at the bottom. So that's our welcome for Weoki. Now, I mentioned the life stage and retargeting. So I'm going to show you now an example of a personal page. This is for Unify. They're in Southern California. And in this case, imagine that somebody actually clicked on that wedding life stage in the survey and said, I'm going to be getting married within the next 9 months to a year or whatever. And so 24 hours later, because that data comes to us on a daily basis, we turn around and send what we call a retargeting campaign to them. These are really slick. So it's all about the planning for the wedding experience. It's independent of the series of personal pages they get that we call the product pearls. This is a separate campaign that's directly sent to them for this specific purpose. So in this case, you're seeing a rotating carousel. So you'll see it usually starts with this one. So make memories. This is all about how do you consolidate debt? How do you plan your wedding? The next one talks about know your score. So it's about getting your credit score and making sure you're all set there. And all those links that click directly to the information to provide more detail on that. So again, this is showing you a rotating carousel here, which can have multiple images in it, multiple messages. So the next component directly below is you know, your wedding your way. So you know, the venue needs deposit, the DJ has a conflict, all these different things you have to worry about. You know, should you apply for a personal loan? Do you want to see rates? So they can click right on that and see Weoki's rates for taking out a loan to help pay for their wedding versus putting it all on a credit card. So that's all, again, deep linkable. You scroll down and you see a component that says seriously enviable. After enduring, you know, your reception, those tipsy toasts, it's time to consider stashing all your cash in a share certificate. So this is about what can you do with your money in the most effective and efficient way to get the best rates of return. Click here to see rates. Again, takes them right to that information within their website or other environments that they designate as our links. And then we scroll down, we have a component saying keep calm and carry on. So, you know, if you're the more financially responsible spouse, congratulations. Let's talk about how to pay bills on time, keep your credit card balances low, etc. So they can click here and actually get their credit report. I won't click on it now, just in the interest of time and wanting to show you a few others. a video that they've included on the big day and all the things that are involved. You know, cost average of $34,000 these days to have a wedding. Oh my goodness. Keeps going up and up. I think a lot of people getting married these days during COVID are saving a lot of money by having 10 people at their wedding. But here's just kind of a visual of the average wedding cost, again, just to help them to start thinking about those different types of expenses they're going to have. You know, yours, mine, and ours, about, you know, joint checking accounts. You want to have your own, you want to have individual, joint. So this is about applying for that now, right there within the experience. Ditching debt, how do you get rid of all that debt you have? I know when I got married, that was a requirement before we tied the knot. I had to get rid of all my debt. So this gives tips on that. And then contact us anytime. So again, this is an example of a retargeting that someone would receive literally 24 hours after they filled out that life stage survey. And then those leads, go ahead.
And Joe, one thing I might mention is all the content you see is being curated from existing content at the credit union or the bank. So we're not having to create anything new. We're just trying to drive actions back to your website, and we're tracking every single action they take. Mm-hmm. So we can report on it at an individual level.
Yeah, I was going to say, each of these engagement points, consider those all leads. And depending on what they're clicking on and engaging with, and we can see how long they're engaging with certain content, as Paula mentioned, we can serve these up as leads that are fed on a daily basis to individuals designated at the credit unions for follow-up. And we have clients that are doing this quite aggressively right now, and it's really paying off for them. So a couple more quick examples. So I mentioned COVID. This is an example, and within this, I'm going to share with you also, this is a partnership we have with a company called Silver Cloud, and we work with them to develop a demo of a personal page here. Two of them, actually, two use cases. One is about, hey, it's COVID time. How's your life changed, and how we can help you during these digital times now, as people are becoming more digital. But one of the couple of things that Silver Cloud does with their integrations and their partnership with us is they have this chatbot functionality. So this lives within the personal page, and it scrolls up and down with the member as they go through the experience. So that can be something that's really beneficial for members that are looking for particular information. And they also have a content curation FAQ capability that I'll show you in one of these two examples that you'll see as well, which is a really cool thing that again helps members get the information they need right away, real time. So in this case, we're basically sending out a personal page about, you know, the realities of COVID. You know, we're here for you during these challenging times. None of us knew what to expect when COVID hit, and it was amazing how much work we got involved with our clients with COVID messaging, and all different types of ways of treating it as well, from ad hoc campaigns to adding content to personal pages and others. So in this case, the hero says, we're here for you. Daily life has changed during COVID. We know that, but you still always have access to your money at First Financial. And you know, if you want to scroll through, you can see all the different types of services that we're here to help you with during these times. And we also asked them to take a survey. How has the coronavirus impacted your personal situation? So it's built on our same template. You know, so it's severely hurt my financial situation. They submit it. And then the message back is specific to that button that they pushed, the number that they chose. So in this case, sorry to hear you're having trouble. Please let us help you by scheduling an appointment, which right there is the next component. So we have an appointment scheduler functionality, and we can integrate with an existing appointment scheduler like you saw with Wioki, or we have our own off-the-shelf one that works this way, where, you know, you can schedule a meeting with Les Wilson, our virtual branch manager. It's really simple. You pick the date. I want a date on the 25th. I want to come in the late morning. I want to be contacted by phone. Pop that in there. And what type of meeting do you want? Do you want to come into the branch? Because some branches are still having limited hours. Do you want a virtual meeting? Do you want us to come to your office? So I'll say virtual. And what's your topic? And the credit union has full control over what goes in here, what they want to allow to be chosen. So let's just say I want to talk about investment planning, and then you submit, and that'll go directly to a designate. In this case, it would be Les. And it says your request has been received. We'll contact you shortly to confirm your meeting date and time. So, and that meeting can happen via Zoom. It can happen via the virtual appointment with the technologies that they have. We have other technology partners that we can integrate to facilitate those types of video chat meetings. So they will basically get a contact immediately. This data goes directly to that designate. They reach back out and say, hey, I'm calling to confirm your appointment for Friday, 11 o'clock in the morning. Some additional content, COVID solutions to improve your financial life. So just, again, considering the times that people are in the uncertainty. So, when times get tough, they can click on this and go directly to some deep linked content. That's about that. Help with loan payments, call us to discuss your situation. You want to set skip a pay. I know we took advantage of that with both of our auto loans recently, got a couple months off, which was nice. And then here's the other Silver Cloud integration is the FAQs. So you can see that these are listed in a certain number of order. There's a handful here. You can also click here to see all of them. That'll drop you and show you a page where you can click through all FAQs. But you can see how this all works. Just click and open up your question, and it gives all the detailed information there. And again, Silver Cloud kind of pulls all this information in based on the actual credit union's content and information. It does all the heavy lifting, and then it's updated on an ongoing basis. So, but the credit union has control and approval over all that. But they again.
And Joe, on that too, I believe if I remember our conversation before. Obviously, if a client doesn't have a Silver Cloud relationship or doesn't want to invest in a Silver Cloud relationship, that could be FAQ information that's just pulled from static FAQ content that they have on their website.
Absolutely.
Yes, we have an FAQ component. So this is just a more dynamic, very, very robust solution. But again, what we try to do is bring the customer, our client, partnerships if they don't have partnerships, or if they don't have them, we have a more basic solution to get them started with. And Joe, we should probably pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah. I'll finish up. I'll just scroll through these. So just additional content about like refinancing, getting people to sign up for e-statements, and then the sign off. So that's the COVID one. There's one more I just want to show you quickly, which is the credit card version. Again, this is another First Financial example. So it's Silver Cloud integrated. But in this case, it's someone, because we have the data and the data tells us that this person, Paula, is pre-qualified for a First Financial visa. We can give them this information directly through their personal page, get started, which drops them to the next component, which is learn about the 2 different types of visas we offer. Apply now takes them right to the application. Life stage survey, again, you got some new things coming up we can help you with. So it works the same way as the previous one I showed you. FAQ.
And by the way, that component, if you back up, Joe, just a minute, that component can be tailored toward a business customer. It can be, if you have personas, we can target it based upon the age bracket or the persona of the different kind of member. So, and we want to get to the detailed technology behind all this. So we'll pick up the pace quickly here.
And this is the last one. So for this personal page experience. So more about financial education. So, click here to get more information to start your financial adventure. The referral program again, which clicks right to their information input, and then we sign off. So those are 4 good examples of our personal pages that hopefully gives you a good feel for how they all work. And again, all data driven, and many different examples that we can share with you in the future of different examples of how we use these. So I'll turn it back over to Paula to get into part 2.
Okay, so, and again, my computer just gets a little stuck if it sits too long. I don't know why that is. There we go. So now we're going to talk about our use case, our second use case, which is our digital virtual branches. And this is something that, again, came through the COVID experience. And of course, the old way is getting people to come into the branch to sign the paperwork or to have a meeting. And what's happened with COVID is it's just become problematic. And we all know that. So what we are doing is taking all the content and creating a new way to create a digital virtual branch experience. And I think everybody can agree that video capabilities, I never used them, hardly ever before COVID. And now I use them like we all do all the time. So our goal with our virtual branch is to make sure we connect that member with an expert that can help them. And your remote specialist or your branch specialist is the most common use case for this kind of capability. So a remote advisor can really help you with lost business, enhance cross-selling and upselling, and right selling. So it's very, very important. And I think this is kind of the omni-channel approach to say, we don't want to just have a phone call with you, right? Or we don't want to try to make you come down and stand in line to get into the branch. I've even heard some people say they have to wait in their car and be waved in. So people are getting more and more comfortable with the virtual technologies. And we see the opportunity to ensure the member or the customer gets the expert assistance they need when they need it. And we see the opportunity to create a local virtual footprint for each of your branches and or a central virtual footprint that is more centralized and part of your main website and other activities. We can also set up virtual branches for your line of business. So if you have a small business practice, a retail practice, a private banking practice, a commercial practice, we can set up specific virtual branches around those different kinds of needs that members and customers have. Now, it can be, as I said, central or location specific and search optimized. And Jim, why don't you talk a little bit about your thoughts around the digital virtual branches and how you see it working?
Right. Well, this is one of the things that most excited me about the ChannelNet offerings is that it really does make the branch page a destination for members and prospective members. I mean, as far as for members, it can become a place, especially now, like you said, where they're really hesitant to come in, or they just don't want to mess with the procedures around it. Regardless of or maybe they're anti-face mask and they don't want to go anywhere where they have to wear a face mask. Whatever the reason people do not want to come into a branch, this alleviates the need to come up with another way to serve them. You can still serve them with the same branch staff. They can still keep the relationships with that branch staff they've had relationships with in the past, but they're just going to do it through your website. And it's just I think a really great way to give them the full suite of connection options, for lack of a cool term for it. And so that's why I think this the demo will make it even clearer how it really combines the best practices that I've talked to my clients about for many years around making branch pages a destination for people.
And the local search optimization is huge. And that's something that most banks and credit unions haven't really been able to master, right, Jim?
Well, that's correct. And part of it's because of the engagement. It's one thing to have a page that has all the right content on it, but if people just hit it and then leave it, search engines don't really see that page as having delivered what it was supposed to necessarily. They were looking for information, but they left the page within 10 seconds because, of course, all they wanted to know was the hours. It's not really a win in terms of the search engine. So having all this engagement, the ability to keep people on the page, have them complete activities on the page, is going to make is always going to be a much stronger case for search engines to say, okay, this is a winning page to send people to.
So now we're going to do one quick demo. And so let me stop sharing. And go ahead, Joe, one quick demo.
Share. And I will share this and go back to my. All right, let me just bring this down a second. All right. Are you seeing the page?
Yes.
Great. So I'm going to show you just this one example right now of a virtual branch demo, and this is our enterprise or centralized version of the digital virtual branch. So one size, one virtual experience for all members. Again, using Weoki here for an example in this case. So built on the same kind of platform. So you see the components work the same way, but the messaging is a little bit different now. So again, same branding across the top, the branding for Weoki, the click to calls, the hamburger menu. But I'm going to click back so I get to the beginning here. So welcome to Weoki Virtual Branch Experience. This would be the first page, the first hero they see when they land on this experience. So whether you're a new member or a current one, our virtual branch has all the services you expect and more from the comfort of your home, mobile phone, or laptop. Come on in. And then there's additional banners talking about different promotions right now. Obviously, home rates are really low, so we're promoting that. Try Wheelkey Virtual Credit Union today. So start a virtual meeting that takes you to the appointment scheduler that we'll talk about in just a second because it's down further below. And auto rates are low as well. So a lot of automakers are selling out of all their vehicles because their rates are so low right now. So again, that's the scrolling hero that's now focusing on virtual branch introduction. So here's Wheelkey's virtual branch services. So this component just lists kind of the primary services available through the virtual branch experience or in branch if the member decides that they want to go into branch for certain things that are still available there. But the same products and services are available through virtual banking, such as these, auto loan services, mortgage refinancing, making deposits, payments, etc. You can click this right here that drops you into the appointment schedule, which I will scroll down and show you in just a second. We have the FAQ componentry built into this as well, right? So you can actually search your question here or do it through the FAQ functionality, which is very easy to use. And there's actual links down here also to download the mobile apps on Apple Store or Google Play, or they can actually even log right into their account right through this here, which drops them right into their login page. Scrolling down, a mortgage that's right for you. Again, we talked about mortgage rates being really low. They can actually click on here and see a mortgage calculator and play around with that. They can click here to get additional advice. If they want to apply, they can click on this and the application actually shows up right within the experience. So that's all about mortgage. Schedule a meeting with a Wheelkey specialist. So in this case, we've actually, based on Wheelkey's input for this version, they wanted to kind of prod a little bit with these questions that are at the top. So have you looked at benefits of consolidating debt? Would you refinance your mortgage to save more money? Is it time for a new car? Do you want to talk about your long-term savings goals? And those questions actually apply to these specialists that they've chose to show here for each of those different types of services. So you saw the appointment scheduler in previous examples I showed. This one's a little more detailed because it's getting into actual specific individual specialists at the virtual branch. And now that can be somebody that's at an actual branch that's been designated as that specialist, or it can be a centralized within the call center operation where those go directly to certain people that are identified to handle those types of those appointments. And it works the same way with, want to meet in branch, virtual, etc. And what's your topic? So works very much the same way, just has some additional information and specialization based on those types of services that a member might want to talk about. And then additional information, just again, in a virtual experience. So no need to go to the branch to talk about all this stuff. We're having a free virtual budgeting seminar here. Click on that, it takes them right into that experience. All of these are deep links that go into this additional information for them to learn more. So you can see in this case, it's a seminar, the benefits of a credit union mortgage, purchasing a new car. So you can see the theme of some of these services that are working through this initial welcome, virtual branch welcome experience. This is really cool. This is an integration with a partner we have called Pop.io, which you may have heard of them. They got their start in the ATM, video ATM space. And this is where we can actually integrate in an opportunity for the member to have a virtual branch experience with a video chat through voice and video if they choose, and they can turn the video on or off if they don't want to be seen. So the video can happen here. You can actually set that up, have that real-time experience. And you can even do things like document share, document sign. They have technologies built in that allows you to scan your driver's license and just send it right through real time and actually do document signing as well. So this is something I think is going to grow in popularity as we continue to work through these new times, these new normal times. An auto loan without visiting a branch. So you can calculate your rate and your payments. That again drives you right into that information. I have to zip out of this to go back to this now. Because it blocks it. But you can see how those actually just deep link right to that information where they can do those calculations. They can apply right within the experience. And again, you've seen the referral component, but this is included as well, trying to get additional people referred. And the Amazon gift card drops them right into their information entering experience. And then we conclude in this case, we've seen a lot of surveys in these examples. A lot of times they're up at the top when their satisfaction about onboarding. In this case, we're hoping that they've gone through and taken advantage of looking at a lot of this information in the virtual branch experience. And now we ask them, how was your experience? and they can tell us. So my new way of banking, submit. You're awesome. So, and then we sign off again with just kind of the normal stuff and the disclaimers and the social icons.
Right, and all of this is customizable by the institution. So the elements that are included on this page are really up to the kind of engagement events that the credit union or bank would like to have for prospective members and members on it. So which again is what I love about this is it's kind of taking advantage of the technology, the same technology everybody else would be using, but be able to apply your own approaches to serving your markets.
Yeah, and Paula will kind of take us through the remaining presentation, which she'll get to some of the content pieces and how we can do real quick updates and edits and changes really easily on these environments.
Having worked across all the different cores and some of the complexity around that, and given the fact that not everybody has a data lake or a huge CRM system or whatever, we came up with a very simple approach. We have a data file format. We send that to you. You ask whoever in your technical group or your whatever group to pull data against that test data. And then we set up, or you set up, a daily automated feed. It's just that simple. And when we first got into this, we were so worried about core integration because who's got the ability to do core integration? I mean, everybody's so busy. Now, we can do real-time core integration with the likes of Correlation and others, but we wanted to be able to get to market fast. So this data pull enables us to do both personalization and localization. So if the member, in this particular case, we've got their zip, their state, their email, their date of birth, whether they've downloaded the mobile app, if you want to embed a persona about that type of member, a branch ID because they came through branch or online, or we can assign them a branch. If it's a car, we can even name the car dealer that it came from. So the good news is you have the data. This is not hard to do. It's really, really straightforward, and it works very, very well for all of our clients. We also have methodologies for helping you curate existing content from all your channels. And those channels can be your website, your blogs, your educational materials, your events, your FAQs, your referral programs, promotions. And because everything is dynamic, you can call up our help desk, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, and say, I need to make a change immediately. And we can make that change, show it to you, and boom, you're out the door in, a couple of hours with any kind of changes you want to make along the way. We also recommend monthly meetings so we know what's coming up in terms of events or promotions, or are there social activities, or do you have new videos? So we want to incorporate any of that we can along the way. Part of what you saw was our dynamic intelligent components, and we think of those like Lego blocks. And the content and the functionality live in these Lego blocks, and then the rules and the data drive the formation of each of these personal pages for individuals. And so the way it works is the data you send us daily hits our engine. That reaches into the curated content and functionality to pull out the Lego blocks. That then goes back into the engine, which generates the personal page for each individual member. We also collect detailed analytics and generate leads because we're able to track everything they do on those pages. And I'll show you the results in just a few minutes. Our automated virtual branches work exactly the same way. Only the difference is more robust branch data potentially, photographs of branch managers or however you want to organize that. And then we can create local branches, central branch, or a business branch, however you want to configure those branches. And so the content, what we really want you to do is utilize your existing content, any new content, and let's build that in and help you distribute that to members on a more personal and relevant basis. We also have detailed analytics that we can drill down to the individual member and their actions. We can feed that information to you on whatever kind of basis you want, whether that's real time, whether that's sending you a monthly report, same with leads. We have different kinds of lists that we send you on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. And then our managed services. We support over 7,000 channel partners today across the US and Canada. And so what we do here is we have a concierge help desk. They're specialists at understanding personalization and localization, and they are there to build out these pages for you. They will start out by filling in a content matrix of some information based on welcome or whatever the touch point is, and then they'll work with you to refine that, then build that out, send that link to you so you can review that data and that page before it goes out to the members. And then we really are all about constant refinement. So we know that a lot of your groups are stressed. They've got a lot of work to do. We know that from all of our clients. So what we do is move in and act as an extension of your marketing department. Now, in this particular case, Jim can actually pull together not only local search optimization for our branch pages, the content, he knows your content, he can develop the content, he can guide us on that. So we can pretty much make, between the two of us, this a totally turnkey solution for you.
Yep, and I love turnkey.
Thanks. And now just to go through a few results, key performance indicators. We have very strong email open rates, email open to click, very, very low unsubscribes. That's typically higher than we see, 0.1%. 15.3% interacting with calculators, cross-sell messages, and we can actually tell you who they are by name, by individual. Visitors, both unique visitors and visitors that return in one day or by day 7. And the amazing thing is they don't get rid of the page. Unlike an email that gets blown off, because it's relevant to them, they come back if they want to spend more time with it. So we can actually track all of that activity for you. We see tons of surveys on a monthly basis, heavily mobile usage, and everything we do is mobile optimized. So we're a responsive platform. Of course, desktop is important as are tablets, but we don't see the kind of activity on tablets. We also see an average time spent of about 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Now this is, and I like to talk about demand sensing. And that's what our pages do. They observe what people are doing as individuals, and then we're able to report how many people were interested in credit cards, and who are they? How many in auto loans, mortgages, personal loans, savings accounts, referrals on a monthly basis, and then all the interactions with e-bill pay, e-statements. So if they interact with this kind of thing, we can not only report that to you, we can also have follow-up, whether it's thank you follow-up, thank you for adopting bill pay or e-statements, thank you for opening a new checking with us, etc. And then last but not least, again, Weoki has been a real supporter, Brent, and has just loved what we do. We actually followed members that inquired through the personal pages about auto loans, mortgages, and credit cards. His ROI is based on the average annual interest generated per product. And so we put together this little chart at his direction as to what he saw on an annualized basis of these 3 products and the ROI we generated. As mentioned, we have partners. If you don't have partners, we have, of course, Silver Cloud with the chatbots, Pop.io, real-time appointment scheduling with Coconut or whomever you want. Of course, Jim and his referral engine, his search optimization, and his content development. Correlation, if you're a correlation customer. We're also negotiating a relationship with Jack Henry. And recently, we've been approached by our friends at Fiserv. We also have recently formed a partnership with Thrive. They are data experts in the credit union space. So that really concludes today our discussion. I'd like to open it up to questions, thoughts, comments, please.
A couple of things kind of came to mind that I thought of when I was watching. So as events occur or people are doing things and what have you, are there multiple personal pages that get created, or they become dynamic and they will change as maybe they do or don't do certain things or become interested in other things?
Yes, they're automated and they're dynamic.
Okay, so there still remains one page. It just changes with it goes with the flow, whatever happens to be what they're interested in and looking at and whatever's new, et cetera. It just changes.
Exactly.